Yo. So this is supposed to be a video on basic ontology. I thought I would do this video because it's something where people get often very confused. So what's ontology? Ontology is basically the study of what exists. It's wow, what exists. So here you can see I will draw. I'm not a very good drawer, but whatever. So when you look at existence, you can perceive things with your five senses and with your thinking. So this because of this, there is a natural divide between what will be here the conceptual world. It's a very natural divide. And here the real world. So if you're like just very normal, say you work in, I don't know, HR, like pretty much all you have seen is the real world. But if you're a pure mathematician, for you it's very clear that this conceptual world really has a inherent structure that is actually distinct and from the real world. So if you want definitions, the real world is anything you would perceive and can perceive with your five senses, basically. And the conceptual world is everything you can think. So again, there is a divide here in the, I don't want to write, in the conceptual world. There is a part which is the coherent and precise concepts. So in the conceptual world, you have concepts. And you have coherent and precise concepts. And this part is basically, it's basically just math. So you have set theory here, because each coherent, precise concept can be encapsulated as sets. So if you're a pure mathematician, you will get this, because you know set theory, you know that math is about sets. If you're not a pure mathematician, well, this is harder to grasp because this is math. And so if you want examples, because I think examples is important, here, so in the coherent precise concepts, you might have things like, come on, groups, or like the concept of a group, which is a mathematical concept, which is which encapsulates the symmetries of things. You might have Rn, which is the mathematical flat space. Like right now, the real world, funny enough, uses R3, three-dimensional flat space, as its real space. Just look around you. You're in R3, and but here you have math. And in the real world, you might have things like, come on, like you, you're pretty much real, or like the closest chair to you. This is real. You have horses too. Like you can perceive those with your hands. So this separate things, and this is really cool because sometimes some people ask question like, is the concept of a group real? And the natural answer would be that like it exists conceptually, but it doesn't exist in the real world. Like you won't ever perceive the concept of a group with your five senses. So this is the most coherent picture. And you might be like, well, what's this part? This mysterious part of the not coherent and precise concepts? Well, here you can have stuff like more like flabby words that philosophers would use, like free will, for instance, which is just non-defined. Like, so you can have a concept and the idea of a concept, but it would change depending on the individual. Or you would have like the set of sets that don't contain themselves. Which is, if you're a pure mathematician, you would recognize this. I think I got it right. So this thing is, if you think about it, it's a contradiction. So it's non-coherent. And math is about coherent stuff. So this is what exists. Like anything that exists either conceptually exists or really exists. And you also have the universe is designed in a really specific manner. Like for each real object, you can conceptualize it. So you kind of have a arrow like this. This is conceptualization. So you can conceptualize a chair, which means that you might have the concept of a chair, but the chair in the real world is still real. And funny enough, you kind of have also in the other sense another arrow, which is that each concept, when you think about it, you think about the concept with your neuronal system. So in other words, like each concept is actually encrypted in the possible configuration of your neural network in the real world, because your neural network, your brain, is a real thing. So this is really the ontology and the clear natural picture of the ontology of the universe. And if you did like economy, pure mathematics, theoretical physics, and philosophy on a high level, like this would seem pretty clear, and this might be illuminating. So also you might say, okay, super intelligence is a big deal right now in the real world, and you might say that it's not real. And in this sense, like it could be in the real world in the future of the real world, but you can, even though it's in the future in the real world, it doesn't mean that you cannot extract truth from it. It's just that you will use the conceptual world and the coherent and precise logic of the conceptual world to derive truth about superintelligence. And this is a topic that I want to get to in different videos. So now this is grand and all. This is about existence, like what conceptually exists, what really exists. By the way, the unicorn, the unicorn should be here, because you don't precisely say what a unicorn is. Like you have kind of a vague idea of what a unicorn is, but it's not like precisely mathematically defined. But if you want, you can kind of do a precise mathematical definition. So it's kind of here, yeah. And so the last thing that I want to clarify here is about truth, because people use the word truth about real objects and about conceptual objects. And funny enough, truth doesn't just isn't the same in the conceptual and in the real world. Like in the real world, truth is observation. So I write it here. So real truth equals observation in the real world. And so something that is not true in the real world would be just something that you cannot observe. But in the conceptual world, it's different, and that's where some philosopher gets mind blown. Is that in the conceptual world, actually, truth equals basically proved by axiomatic system. And here it turns out like this is just mathematics knowledge that ZFC is the best axiomatic system for essentially well, it's the best that the human has ever found. It really seems to be the best about conceptual truth, which is insane. It's really cool. Like the real world would fit in a coherent manner in ZFC by this conceptualization arrow. If you can follow me on this. And so you can have, funny enough, real truth is not conceptual truth is not conceptual existence, which means that in the conceptual world you can have not true concepts that exist, something that just isn't there in the real world. And one example would just be a contradiction. Like, this is basically the definition of a contradiction. So the example here would be the set of sets that don't contain themselves. Yes. And this seems like this is just a really clean way to think about it. And there are so many confusions of philosopher that get resolved when you think of existence, so ontology, with this coherent system and natural system. Like I tested it on like basically everything.